Okay, good morning. I'm David Gentry. Being a reading first school, we are held to set certain expectations in how we do things in reading. So what we're focusing on and looking at is how we use our data, the data that we use, and how we use it to design the lessons for remediation in different ways. So we're going to look at the types of data first that we use, which are the benchmarks, the CPAA, the TPRI, the EOG test maker, and our classroom observations. And Ms. Claire and Ms. Craven are going to discuss each one of those.
First of all, we use our benchmarks. We have a fall and spring benchmark. We have spring benchmarks coming up next month. But this year we've been using our fall benchmark to identify student strengths and weaknesses, identifying the needs of each student, determining the progress of the students in each objective area, and using that information to group and remediate those students based on their skills that they need.
We also use CPAA, and this is really fun for the students to use. It identifies areas of the needs in reading and in math. It gives us ideas to help the kids focus on those needs that they need. It helps us during remediation time, of what we need to work on. And it also helps us give a look at the progress of the students and the objectives that we're teaching.
We also use TPRI, which is a reading first tool. We use it to monitor reading progress of each student. It focuses mostly on fluency and comprehension. It helps us to continually monitor. There's 6-week progress monitoring, as well as first of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year. We monitor and have constant monitor and record the constant progress of the students. And it narrows down the specific needs of the students in fluency and reading comprehension.
The EOG test maker is a tool, something new that we're using. It gives the kids a better idea of how the EOGs will be so they don't freak out the first time that they see it. We can observe how well the students handle the format of the EOG. It gives the students practice in taking the EOG, especially with bubbling and the types of questions they're going to be asking. Helps identify the students' strengths and weaknesses. It identifies which objectives the students have difficulty with, and we will group them according to what they need. And that's how it focuses. It helps us focus with the remediation. So if these kids are having trouble with this objective, we will work on that objective with those students.
Classroom observations is an important part of our program. The teacher constantly monitors the student's progress, and it allows the teacher to immediately identify specific problems of students, shows what the student doesn't and does not understand about specific concepts of each objective.
So now we look at how we use this data that we've collected in various areas. Workshop, smartboard activities, our teacher-led interventions, and our remediation. In workshop, we use the data to help us design and to set up each of the areas of fluency, comprehension, phonics, listening skills, independent work, vocabulary, and tier activities. The smartboard activities, the kids like to use the smartboard. It's hands-on practice, gives them hands-on practice. They use it for sequencing. We use it for categorizing phonics, spelling, main idea, cause and effect. Adds additional resources, and they enjoy working with it. And here's some examples of how we use it in the class. And here, the first one is actually from Study Island. Royal mentioned it, because one thing I like about Study Island is you're able to print it out onto the smartboard, and they can go in and do it, and the answers are at the end, so they can check their work. We also have them on this side. They're matching up the vocabulary words with the vocabulary with the definition, and that's those two. The one in the middle, again, smartboard activity. And then you have over here is one that we're doing with contractions, where they pick the contraction, tell us what it is, and then they tap on it, and then it shows them what the contraction is with those two words. For teacher-led intervention, for what we do with them during that time, lets us focus on specific needs of the students. We can group them based on what they need. They get small group time with us as a teacher, and it gives us better insight into their learning skills, what they're able to do and not able to do. An example of how we use one of our tests for this, for CPAA, we use CPAA to help identify the need based on the results of their testing, and we find what area they are weakest in. And then once we have done that and we figure that out, one thing I like about CPAA is it gives you activities to do it. So we can find an activity that focuses on that need, and then we can pull up that activity and then turn it into our own activity. So we designed the lesson to fit the students that we're working with during teacher intervention. The example of how we do that, we would take a CPAA assisted lesson. This is the lesson that from the CPAA. Very wordy, but we're going to take that and we're going to make it our own, to where they would just read a decodable book, use their highlighters to locate, identify, and fit into specific needs, and this includes word knowledge patterns, word study, and high-frequency words. And this student's going to go over one activity that we do as in teacher-led group, and that's making foldables for prefixes and suffixes.
This foldable was for suffixes, but it can also be used for prefixes. But I just want to show you very quickly how to actually make it so you can use it in your own classroom. But you just hold your paper up tall, and then you're taking the corner, pulling it over. And then you just want to cut off the access on the bottom. Of course, you would definitely have to model with your students or get them to do it with you. But when you're done, you have a square. And then you just take the corners that already have your line and fold them together so that you're making an X in the middle of your paper. And then you just take each one of the corners and fold them to the center of the paper. And you can choose any prefixes or suffixes that you talked about. We used our blending boards as a reference for them to be able to look and pull words from there, or word walls, or even just going through their AR books or reading story for the week. So if you have any questions on how to do this, you can come and see me at any point. But it just looks like that. And here are some student examples of using it in the classroom.
And then for remediation, or remediate, we continue to focus on the students' needs during this time. We break down the objectives to serve their needs, use various resources to further assist the student, and it allows the student to focus on one thing at a time to better understand that objective before moving on to another one where they need more help. And then when we retest them, we look at where they're at and then we work on it again.
Quick question. With the EOG Test Maker, is that a program that your school has purchased? Is that a website? Is that
It's a program that the school's purchased.
okay? Thank you.
I had a quick question. Do you all use Classgate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a quick question too.
And that's what the benchmark was. The benchmark was from Classgate.
It was paper and pencil.
How often do you do your remediation? Like, do you guys do it as a grade level, or you just do it within your own classroom? As a grade
It's
level?
grade level daily.
Every day.
Daily?
Mm-hmm.
For a half hour every day.
Okay. Thank you.